Come friend, come foe, come one, come all, to the highlands to see who lives and who falls. Jokers and fools, queens and kings, they'll take to the stage on invisible strings. For once in my castle, their roles are assigned, their fates in the game, forever entwined. Under cover of night, the traitors will slay. Can a faithful fight back, or be the next play? Till death do us part, in shadows they hide. Murder and treachery, secrets and lies. They'll all stop at nothing for the ultimate prize. All are mere puppets in the world of the traitors. From the meek to the fierce, pawns to dictators, bound by the strings of the silent orchestrators. Every move, every breath, a twisted decree, a game of betrayal, no one's truly free. Till death do us part, in shadows they hide. Murder and treachery, secrets and lies. They'll all stop at nothing for the ultimate prize. All are mere puppets in the world of the traitors. Who can you trust when the darkness descends? The blade in the back, the whispers of friends. The court is a theater, the blood-stained stage, a dance of deception, a war in a cage. Till death do us part, in shadows they hide. Murder and treachery, secrets and lies. They'll all stop at nothing for the ultimate prize. All are mere puppets in the world of the traitors. Come friend, come foe, come one, come all, to the highlands to see who lives and who falls. Jokers and fools, queens and kings, all are mere puppets on invisible strings.
Hello everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to this week's recap of the Traitors, episode 8 of season 4. Hey, not that Laura Marie. Hi, Pippi. Hey, Miss Liability. Good to see you. Hi, Kirsten. Hey, Rainbow. What a great episode! Oh my gosh. It was so good. I think it was my favorite episode of the season. Finally, Lisa is gone. Spoilers. Okay. Oh my gosh. So this week I did something a little bit different. I went back to how I did it last year and just took pictures. I do not have any videos to play because NBC Universal are assholes. And what they do every single week is they block my entire video from the United States and any territory that's part of the United States. They block the video for like 3 days while they try to fight with me and tell me I'm not allowed to have those clips. But I am allowed to have the clips. They're all within fair use. So, because I do this on Sundays, the video then for this week won't be available till Wednesday for people in America to watch on replay. And well, it's unacceptable. It might be okay if I did the videos, on Thursday nights, and then the video was available for replay. I won and it was out on Sundays. Then at least, it was still the weekend. But having it just be available the day before is crap, and it's bullshit because it's the exact same fight every single week. And every single week they know I'm going to win. This past week, what I did was I didn't even make my own clips. I went to Instagram and took all of the clips off of their IG, off of their direct social media. And they still fought me on it. And it still wasn't available for anybody in America until Wednesday. So this week I've just got a bunch of stills so they don't strike it. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm just really, really annoyed with NBC. It's just a bunch of bull crap. Like, seriously. How the frick am I hurting you guys? And the 90 views that I get. I mean, without the video, so I'll probably get like maybe 20 extra views. Honestly, I'm thinking I might get 110, but I am curious to see what the difference is. And even at 110, it's like, seriously? Like, you think that I'm going to be hurting the great NBC Universal? Sure, it's just a matter of principle because they can. It's just bullshit. So, okay, I'm going to stop complaining about NBC and start this amazing program that happens to be on NBC. Peacock. Peacock these nuts. Sorry. Time for a D's nuts joke. Okay. Oh, they probably do have some kind of an automatic thing, Rainbow. But it's bullshit. And it shouldn't take 3 days to fight. It should be instant. Even if they do have the automatic thing, it should be instant, especially after the 4th week in a row of this. Hey, Gamecock Jenny. Start my new channel name. I'm going to do just Traitors and make the channel name called Peacock These Nuts. So the episode begins with the recap of Jam Jam being murdered in plain sight at the dinner. And then at the end, Lisa was banished from the round. Oh, wait. No, that wasn't Lisa banished. Why did I put Lisa? That was, yeah, it was Rena. Okay, what am I, Candace, that's who was banished this week. Okay, yeah, Rena and Jam Jam. So the episode begins up in the turret with Rob and Candace. Rob is greeting her very politely. He's like, "Good evening." Very welcoming and warm. And Candace is staring him down. And I was like, you seem pretty mad. And Rob says, well, you want me to explain myself? And she's like, yeah, I'd love that. He says, as a person, I feel bad. But as a player, Lisa had to go. Candace is all in the confessional, like, Rob is the dangerous type. He'll look you in your eyes, but he'll stab you in your back. Walking away. I'm like, Candace, that's you. Oh, young Jenny, that sounds great. I've got some cold brew coffee I can make, and I haven't made it in forever. It's really good with cold brew coffee, especially for a little extra caffeine kick, is to make frozen coffee ice cubes. And then that way, when they melt in the coffee, it doesn't water it down and you get extra caffeine. Um, so, yeah, just my little cold brew coffee tip. There is this place in Florida called Brooklyn Water Bagel, and they have coffee ice cubes, and that's what gave me the idea. And I love their coffee ice cubes. It's like the best idea ever. Okay, so Candace has decided their strategy is just going to be playing it cool because crying and carrying on is not something that's going to work for Rob. She just tells Rob that she doesn't think that there was enough evidence for her to have to vote Lisa out, which is stupid. Interesting. I've just got cold Starbucks cold brew packets that I just add water to and put in a pitcher. But I bet it is really good that way from an actual thing that does them properly. So we've got Alan then coming in, senses the awkwardness being palpable. I apologize for the glare on my screen, on my TV screen, but if you look closely, and I think you can only see it in the shots I've gotten of the turret, but if you look, you can see a big skull in the background, and that's because I've got this weird cardboard craft blocking out the sun instead of drapes on the window behind it. So anyway, if you make out a skull behind Alan, that's from my house. So he lets them know that they either need to recruit somebody or they're going to do a murder. They've got a choice: recruitment or murder. So they both decide it's going to be in both of their best advantages not to recruit anybody, which is smart, I think, for both of them. If Candace could have found a way to get somebody on her side up there, it would have been to her advantage to recruit. But I guess she doesn't think that she could. I don't know. But she definitely is thinking that it's way better for her not to have somebody to recruit, so Rob and that person don't work against her. And I guess everybody in the house really does love Rob, so I guess that's, she's smart enough to see that. So he decides that he's going to go ahead and let her have whatever she wants in the turret. Which was surprising, and I thought, well, there's no way. There's no way he's going to pick his best mate, Colton. No way. He's not going to let her do that. He told her that was the worst decision. So, because he's letting her have her way, he must think that it's not, is what I was thinking. But everyone's filing in, and then we've got Stephen, Colton, and Natalie are the top three in consideration. Candace says, a careful assassin serves her revenge cold. Yes, Kirsten. She says she's putting it in the deep freezer right now. And when the time has come, she's going to pull it out and serve it. Like, oh. You might have your revenge in the deep freezer, but Rob has you filleting on a fire pit like a snake. A filleted snake cooking on a fire pit, Lisa. That's what you are. Right. And I love because the title actually of this was A Queen Never Comes Off Her Throne. So as the people are filing in, they're discussing, I guess that there's still two traitors. Eric says how he likes everybody. Somebody asks who was the last person you would suspect. Somebody said Steven. They said they'd be shocked. They also discussed if there could be a possible recruitment. And then Mara is quietly at the table bringing out Candace. We've got Johnny, then we've got her talking about because her entire brand was to be consistent, and that's not what happened. Johnny's disagreeing. And then we've got the rest filing in, and they realize it's Colton. Pippi says Colton needed to go anyways, in her opinion. It's better this way so all the blame isn't on Rob. Exactly. That's exactly it. That's what I thought after the fact. I'm like, oh, you are smart. Because by not telling her that Lisa was the last name that he said, she's not aware of that, and he's letting her do Colton. None of the blame's on him. It looks like it wasn't him, and it points, as he said, an even more direct target to her to keep her on the front lines of murder or of banishment. Not that Laura Marie says Rob was so smart not to tell her that Colton had brought her name up the night before. So when she murdered him, it made her look guilty. Facts. Agree. So Colton told the confessional it's pretty obvious that she's the one up there. And hopefully everybody knows that that it's her. So Rob is awesome because he gets to play like the victim, and Colton was such an asset to us, and I'm so sad, which completely works out to his advantage. And the fact that Candace never had the foresight, as she's a gamer of bullshit. Like, she's a gamer of fuckery. Not in the sense of winning money, but of winning the fight and winning, just trashing somebody. She's she wants to be the winner of all of that. So in a way, those take the same qualities of knowing your adversary and knowing, the other people around and how the other people are also going to react in certain things. And so I'm just really shocked that Candace didn't think it through on the Colton murder. Even without knowing that he was on her, she still should have thought more about how they would react. So then Rob throws us an actual, not an actual Mark Twain quote, because I did do a little research. But Rob says to the confessional that he let Colton go because of a Mark Twain quote that he loves. And then he says, "It ain't the things you don't know that hurt you. It's the things you think you know for sure." It's the things you think you know for sure. So the actual Mark Twain quote is, "It isn't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." And then there was also something where people dispute if it was Mark Twain or not, but whatever. Still quite impressed by our snake wrangler, Rob. So Alan comes into the breakfast room and says, "Colton's red rose has been permanently deadheaded." Snip. Candace tells the confessional that her plan today is to get people to focus on the people that they've never really looked into before. And then that way she'll be able to work Rob into the conversation. So as they're leaving the breakfast room, Johnny and Tara, they're talking quietly. Johnny thinks, maybe Steven, but he's not sure. Tara's then in the confessional talking about how she thought it was Natalie, but she just can never get anybody to agree that it could be Natalie. And she's just really bad at this game. And because Johnny Weir thinks it's Steven, she's going to start to think about Steven now, too. Like, Tara, you keep saying you're bad at this game, but every once in a while, you have a glimmer of amazing foresight that you're not even realizing. So, and I'm sure she's now that she's seeing it. I can't wait to get to hear her interviews. I haven't seen any Candace interviews yet, and they didn't have the Lisa interviews out until Rob Has a Podcast didn't post the Lisa interview until Monday. So I don't think his Candace interview will be posted until tomorrow, but I'm really looking forward to it. So make sure you guys check that out on Rob Has a Podcast tomorrow. So Natalie and Robert and Steven and Mark are outside saying that they feel like the Colton murder was a target on the Dagger Six. Steven's then telling the confessional about how he likes all his numbers and probabilities and blah, blah, blah. And he wants to work with Rob because he's got the dagger, which is the double vote. Eric joins in. He's not part of the Dagger Six, but because he voted out Lisa the very first night, they feel like he can be trusted. So he says right away that he thinks that it could be Candace. Mark says that Candace is a smart player. She's been really consistent, and she wasn't that night. And that's pretty much the theme when it comes to Candace. That really messed her up was her not being consistent with her vote. What do you guys think would have been a better vote for her? If she wasn't going to go, actually Colton would have been. If she wasn't going to go for Lisa or Natalie, Colton would have been a better vote. Because she's thought about him before and talked about him, but she's wanted to stay consistent, but at least his name's been out there. Just keeping it on Natalie would have been smarter even. After this episode, Pippi went and ordered the yellow pants like Dorinda's. I'm sure she did. And I think that she also had 2 matching pairs sent to the 2 of you because I know that you guys loved them so much too. Don't lie to me. I was in there peeping. I snuck into wherever you guys are watching. And I saw you 2 raving. Pippi's like, well, if you guys like them so much, then I guess I'll get them for myself and for you too. Anyway. Yeah, maybe Natalie or Colton. I don't know, because she wouldn't necessarily want to put the name onto anybody else that's new either. I mean, like she did with Rob, which was so out there. So yeah, I don't know. But definitely Rob was not the choice to make because of how well liked he is. And and that's why, I mean, the reasons she chose to do it are also the reasons why she shouldn't have done it. So anyway, they all, are bringing up the lack of consistency and how she's so big on being consistent. So Rob's telling the group that Candace was the last name that he said to him last night. And the group's like, wow. And then Rob's telling the confessional his plan is to push for Candace because she's going to be making conspiracy theories up about him all day. And, he's spot on. He is in. I was so afraid that she would win just because she's like older and she's a housewife. But Rob was ahead of the curve the whole time. Rob was always playing offensive and she was on the defense from the beginning. It's really unbelievable. It's impressive. Because, a pretty face is only going to get you so far. So, it's time for, let's see. Oh, it's Stupid Candace Stupid Candace is in the kitchen trying to tell Kristen and Johnny that Rob was so flustered over Colton because of a fork drop. She wants Rob to think that he's completely undetectable while people start saying his name so that she can start moving the needle forward. But again, like I said, she's already in defense. So it's time for the mission. Oh, let's see. I think I missed a couple of pictures. Let me see here. I need to start putting notes in. This was I don't even know, but Candace was annoyed at Rob. This is her annoyed at Rob look. And I wasn't really wild about Alan's outfit at first, but then he put the hat on, and it kind of the hat just kind of brought it all together for the competition that they had. It's like it looks like your grandma's brocade couch from the 70s kind of thing, or like big brocade drapes. So the mission is they're going to split up into two teams. There's 8 on one side, 3 on the other, and let me see. And the 3 that on the one side, the 8 people are gonna have to go around and try to take pictures and stuff. And then Pee Wee Herman looked like a sofa. Oh, that reminded me of somebody else's hairstyle, but I'm not saying that name in a Traitors stream. So, the 3 people that have to go into the old gallery with Alan are the only ones that are going to have an option to win the shield. So, nobody that stays back, none of the 8 people. Hey, Jen. None of the 8 people that stay back will have a chance to win the shield. So they pick. Candace gets mad because Rob says, Big Bad Jen. Candace gets mad because Rob wants to be one of the ones to be eligible for a shield, and that ticks her off. Johnny wants it too, and Candace wants Johnny to have it, but Rob wins over Johnny, and then Kristen and where's the other choice? Who was it? Team 3. Who was the third one, you guys? Why don't I have it written down? Oh, it was Steven. Was it? It was Steven. That's right. Okay. So it was Steven, it was Rob, and it was Chef Kristen. Right? No, not Steven. Yes, Steven. Was it Steven? I have 2 million notes and I don't have his name written down. And choose wisely because the 3 people have a chance. 8 people left to close. Candace is mad. Rob is one of the 3 picked. She says everybody wants to drink his bathwater because he's such a faithful. They get 3,000 for each completed portrait. Mark, not that Laura Marie. Thank you. It was Mark. Thank you, Mark Ballas. Okay, so it was Rob, Chef Kristen, and Mark Ballas. I don't know why Mark is kind of forgettable with his top knot that's so ugly. I mean, I guess his top knot's okay, but do some other stuff with your hair. Don't braid it though. Cornrows are okay, but braids no. All right, anyway, stop with the hair. That's okay. So we've got Rob, Mark. Oh, I've got it right here. Rob, Mark, and Kristen. I just wasn't down far enough in my notes. And I've got to see pics right here. So let's see. I think we've got the first one and the second clue. Oh, there's Lala all dressed up, and unfortunately, there's a little glare on the picture. I think whenever the screen is on black, that's where the glare comes in. Darn it! Hi, Lala. Precious Lala. Where's the shield girl? So the first clue, and the team of 8, they split into 2 groups of 4, and they don't actually see a picture. They just get this clue. So the first team has to act out a beguiling young milkmaid milks a somber Highland cow while the other 2 cattle rest patiently in the meadow. So 2 cows are resting, and there's a pretty milkmaid milking a calm cow. Is the first one. And then we have another clue right away for the other team is 2 downtrodden farmhands carry a newborn calf on a path while its watchful mother strides gently at its side. So 2 sad, overworked, exhausted farmhands are carrying this calf, this newborn, and the mama cow is watching the baby and side-eyeing the farmhands. Okay. So that's what these next 2 pictures are going to be of. That is the baby newborn cow. Is that, yeah, being carried, and that's the mama cow. She doesn't look very, Dorinda's face should be a little bit more somber. And she should look down, Natalie should look downtrodden. And Tara. So that's the picture, and they got it right. So they won $3,000 for that. The red team won all 3. The green team lost 2 out of the 3. So this was the green teams. You've got the beguiling milkmaid milking a somber Highland cow, and the other 2 cows hanging out in the pasture. And they lost. It was supposed to be that. Oh no, that's the one they picked. They picked horses. But horses don't get milked. That was the problem. The horses don't get milk. So let's see. Murdering hour was another clue. I liked that one. And then lead the charge, a fierce warrior rides into battle on his mighty steed, scaring away hapless villagers on the grass field. Oh, that's cute too. And they got it right. That's their picture. And then if they had gone with the first one, they would have gotten it right. But the team inside should have picked that one, and they didn't. And so they lost to this one again on the red team. That's the one it should have, or that's the one they picked. And then the last one was a sad proposal. At the edge of a garden, a man on bended knee proposes marriage. Whoops. To a sorrowful lady whose heart remains elsewhere, his mother knits while a prying neighbor peeks over the fence. I know, that was so funny. I was cracking up too with Eric putting the grass in his mouth. You can't, it's hard to see, but you got Tara up in the back looking through the grass. I don't know if I would have gotten this one, but they did a good job and got it. This one was so funny. They didn't know if it was a pig's head on a dining table. If it was a baby. I enjoyed this challenge too. I liked it a lot. So the screaming infant. Oh my gosh, Eric cracks me up. And so that was the final picture. And I guess, yeah, I could see that possibly being a table with a feast and a pig's head, you know? I could see that now. Oh my gosh. So that's the one, and then they won that. So they ended up with six. They ended up with there were six total. They got four right. So they won $12,000. So their total now for the competitions, grand total, is $150,800. I should look back on my notes and see. I wonder, do I even have my notes for this episode? I'll have to look later and see what notes I've got because I'm curious last season in the same episodes, like how much was won. And I don't think I kept all my notes, but I think I kept some. So I'll take a look. I won't do that now. I'll do that later. So we are now back at the castle. Oh, also Kristen found the shield in the old gallery. So Kristen got the shield. She was very happy. So back at the castle, Mara and Natalie are whispering they're suspicious of Candace. You've got Mark and Kristen they're talking and decide there's absolutely got to be a male up in the turret. Johnny and Eric talk, and Eric thinks he's still suspicious of Candace. Johnny is still not suspicious of Candace. He mentions to Eric that Colton mentioned Stephen to him. And then Johnny Weir's talking about how he feels like that there's some kind of boy energy, some like masculine energy up there, and says that somebody up there is strategizing because Lisa wasn't. He just doesn't see her as a strategist. No, but they basically were doing everything to cater to Lisa because Lisa being gone is priceless. Yes. And everything that they did was to cater to Lisa. They had to get rid of people and do all this shit because people suspected Lisa. Lisa Rinna was a liability. In every sense. And Candace should have seen that too. Candace was doing things and acting in ways differently to protect Lisa, and people would have caught on to that too. So then Lisa tells a small group. Why do I have Lisa's name here? I wonder who I met. Somebody tells a small group that she's focused on Stephen and Candace. Certainly wasn't Lisa. Oh no. So Johnny Weir warns Candace. Okay. Johnny Weir goes and warns Candace to be ready. So he gives her a heads up. And she was very happy about that because Rob would have no clue that she had a warning of what to expect going in there tonight. And so she figured that it was to her advantage. Hey, Christoph. Lisa was the worst. She was so bad. So that was Mara that told the small group that she was focused on Stephen and Candace, I think. Or was it Dorinda? I don't know. During the talks, she was Lisa picked. Oh, it was Dorinda. Okay. Dorinda tells a small group that she's focused on Stephen and Candace. Now, during that, Dorinda also says that she was surprised that Lisa picked Stephen to put her gold into his pot and wonders, if that's suspicious. Stephen and Candace go into a room to talk. Dorinda and Kristen come in and Candace kicks them right out. Both of them are like, yeah, that's a tell, as Dorinda walks away. Really, Kristoff? If he was, it'd be. They're not doing their next season's not is going to be regular people, so I doubt it. They don't have a celebrity one planned um for a minute. I don't know when, so I doubt that's true. But I'd still watch it. I hope he's not. I don't even watch that show, but and he seems like such a loser. He's probably trying to get on. I mean, this is like the reality show that everybody wants to be on. It's the It Show. Like how Dancing with the Stars used to be a long time ago. So, with Steven and Candace talking, Candace says that she knows that Colton had been tossing out her name. She says she's trying to play mind games and get Steven on to Rob by asking who Colton was like the closest to. And she tells Steven that Rob was puppeteering Colton. Ew, not that, Lauren Marie, you're fired. Yuck. So, she also thinks that Lisa's name was coming from, wait a minute, she says she thinks Lisa's name was coming from Colton. And then after Rob had mentioned it to her, Rob then joins them and asks Steven. Steven asks how Lisa's name came up, and Rob doesn't. Oh, Steven then asks how Lisa's name came up at the round table. Rob really doesn't know, and then asks Candace if he can talk to Candace alone. Kirsten. You can't fire Pippi because then she's not going to give you the yellow pants you two want so bad. So, Candace then is telling Rob how she's hearing her name, wants to know where it's coming from. Rob says, well, I've been hearing your name from almost everyone. Rob says, but I'm not going to be pushing for you tonight. Candace is like, I feel like you already are. And she wants to know why her name is suddenly coming up. And Rob says, Colton. So she then wants to know when Rob found out. Because she knows if Rob knew in the turret last night and purposely didn't tell her, she's going to be furious. So he says, this morning. She says, not yesterday? He's like, no, why? She's like, because if you knew Colton was saying my name, it would be convenient for you to be like, fine, let's murder Colton. Yep, it sure would, Lisa, or sure would, Candace. So Rob looks at her very calmly as he's just, picking at his pasta and says, you don't trust me, do you? Candace says, I didn't say that. We have different values. He says, I feel like you're taking this personally. This is a game. Candace says, it is a game. And she says, and you are a snake. And then I wrote, no, bitch, he's a snake handler. That's what I wrote. Candace says, I see what you're doing, and I just want to know I just want you to know if I get banished tonight, your name is going to come up. Rob says, I think that's bad sportsmanship. He says, it's a game called Traitors. She says, yes, and you're a snake, not a traitor. No, bitch, he's a snake handler. She ends the conversation. She's like, you're going to do what you're going to do, and I'll do what I'm going to do. And then the round table begins. Bum, bum, bum. So Candace says that she's not raging at all because a queen never comes off her throne. Oh, yes, a queen does. Let me see. I think I missed some pictures here because this is my pre. Oh, nope. We're right in time. My next shots are all faces during the conversation at the round table. So Candace is also saying that in the confessional that she was simply um, if that she was simply playing the dish that was served to her. So first she had the dish all up in the deep freezer. And this is how you know that she's always been on the defense all along because she never even removed shit from the deep freezer. Rob took that shit out the deep freezer and served it to her. And she says, if you want to play dirty and foul and roll around in the gutter, I'm going to play the game with you. Rob's telling the confessional that he's dealt with a lot of conflict in his life. You just have to remain calm, simultaneously trying to get Candace as riled up as possible. And then he says something that resonates with me, and it should resonate with everybody on YouTube. He says, the more you yell and the more passionate you are, the guiltier you look. And I don't think that's true in every case, but I think that's definitely something to take into consideration when people overreact like assholes for very little reason. So Johnny comes in thinking he's going to vote Steven out, but he decides he's going to be the very first one to speak. He says basically, at this point in the game, you just don't know who to trust. Colton mentioned Steven yesterday. Johnny says, there was no detailed analysis, but he did mention him. Steven wants to know, well, did anybody else hear Colton suggest my name? Not a single person did. So clearly he told more people about Candace than Steven. So this is where Dorinda steps in and tells Steven about her rock theory, about how Lisa put all of her rocks into Steven's basket. Steven says, well, the only reason she did that was because I asked her. She never would have put those rocks in my basket if I didn't ask her. So basically, take your stupid little theory, Dorinda. You're worse at this game than Tara. So then Eric speaks up and says that they have to reevaluate everything. And from the beginning, Candace was about consistency. Donna and then Ron up until yesterday. Candace tries to say, well, with Ron gone, her options about Lisa and Natalie and why she didn't write their names down, blah, blah, blah. Says she didn't think there was enough concrete evidence to vote out Lisa. And that's the picture that's the look on Eric's face when she said that. There was not enough concrete evidence. He's like, huh? And then I think somebody else gave a huh. Yeah. And then Tara got that look on her face when Candace said there was not enough concrete evidence to vote them. I'm like, those looks are so good. So she says, her way to resolve the issue was just to issue a throwaway vote. Eric says, well, most everybody else thought that there was enough evidence to go for Lisa. Candace says, well, I didn't. Before we came in, there was a consensus to vote out Natalie before we even walked in. Then Mark and Natalie both want to know who led that. Candace then stupidly she blames Tara, but Tara does the right thing. She instantly owns it. It was Kirsten in that moment that Tara for sure decided. Uh, so she immediately owned it, apologized. Um, she said she didn't rally the group at all. It was a group decision. There was no rallying going on. So now Candace decides, well, that didn't work. She's got to throw Rob under the bus. So she starts talking about how he dropped his fork, and that seems to mean that he was fumbling because he never fumbles, so that he had to be nervous. And I did write C pick. That is how Rob is looking at her as she's trying to say some dumb shit about him dropping his fork, and is going to use some dumb shit about him dropping his fork to try to get him banished. She says, it's interesting because he's always been measured, calm, and quiet. He says, I wasn't nervous. I was upset. As most of you know, I was really close to Colton. He says, I think I dropped my fork, but yeah, I've dropped a lot of forks in my life, to be fair. That's another of his, so stupid. Okay, so, Mara then points out how Candace said how you said last night you had a throwaway vote for Rob, but now at tonight's roundtable you seem to be suspicious of Rob. Right? Is it Vaseline 69? Vaseline? Why do I want to call you Vaseline when that is clearly Vaseline? Hello, welcome. So, Candace says, I have another question. You had mentioned Lisa's name to me, and I hadn't even heard Lisa's name come up at all until that point. She says, now all of a sudden, Colton then is saying Lisa's name. And I have written down, yeah, dummy, because he told you that Colton was saying your name. Or he told Lisa and you that Colton was saying her name. Now, what are you talking about? You didn't hear it until he came up and warned you that Colton was saying it. You stupid snake. So she wonders if Rob was using Colton to deliver information to the people. What, Candace? Rob says Colton brought up Rob very calmly. He's like, yeah. Rob says Colton brought up Lisa's name the first time, so he had written her name down that night. And then the next day, he told Colton that he was going to try to help rally votes for Lisa that night. Candace then, I cannot believe Candace had the nerve to say, and look, if y'all are going to be coming for stupid Michael Rappaport, then what Lisa said isn't much better. She said that Colton was being used as Rob's beard. Like, are you kidding me? So why the frick can you say that, and then Michael Rappaport's going to get all kinds of shit, but nobody's up in arms about you making that kind of reference to Colton? I don't know. And maybe I'm just being biased because I don't like Candace at all. So it's finally time for the vote, because Candace is kind of, at the end, she's like, kind of going crazy about, the Colton thing. And then Alan finally comes up and says, time for talk is over. But first, would the person who won the dagger like to use it? Rob tells the confessional, nope, he feels very confident in the dagger 5 now. and those other people, and that he won't be voted out. She did keep putting nails in her coffin with everything. So, we have the vote in, and Candace voted for Rob. Tara voted for Natalie, and everybody else voted for Candace. But let's look at Candace's faces as people were voting for her. That's when I don't, might have been Eric or somebody voted for her. But then when Johnny voted for her, I think is the next. No, that was when Johnny voted for her, because that was the look on Tara's face when Johnny voted for Candace. So that first one was when Johnny voted for her and how defeated she was. And then more votes coming in for Candace. She's saying, I love you all so much. I don't want to leave. I love this game. It changed me. It never got so close to so many people so quick. But I'm a treacherous traitor, bitches. Peace. So Candace is gone. I know. I'm so. Tara voted. Oh, that's what it was. Thank you, not that Lauren Marie. I had it backwards. Natalie voted for Tara. And Natalie felt stupid afterwards. And Tara did vote for Candace. Yes, thank you. I know. I couldn't believe that Johnny voted Candace. So good. So as they're walking out of the round table, Rob's talking and wondering, why him? So, is it because I'm quiet? She might think I haven't built a lot of relationships. And Rob's telling the confessional it's only a matter of time before people connect the dots with Candace's votes. Mara tells Tara she's suspicious of Johnny. Tara's like, nope, not Johnny. Mark, and then also Mark, Era, Mara, and Rob were talking right before that in the kitchen. Also suspicious of Johnny. Because I guess they said at the round table he was like really flat. And Candace wanted Johnny to get the shield at the competition. Finally time for the turret. Rob is enjoying his peace and quiet. Alan comes in, calls him the housewife slayer. He's just a snake handler, Alan. He's just doing his job, handling them snakes. So, Alan lets him know that he's got a decision to make. He has to pick a traitor, and he has to pick a new traitor to join him. And if that traitor turns him down, that traitor is automatically murdered. So the person is either going to be joining the traitor or getting murdered. So he goes through his choices and ends up deciding Eric is going to be the best choice. And Eric. You guys know I've liked Eric from the beginning. And so I'm really happy that he chose Eric. I hope Eric can give him a run for his money, because Rob seems pretty unstoppable. So, but I'm interested because I have liked Eric this entire time. So we've got Eric's like stressed out. He goes into the confessional and sees the letter, and he's like, "No, no, no." He's like, "Oh my god." He says, "I either have to join or die, and I know I can never ever be a traitor, and I know who wrote this. I know this handwriting. It's Mark Ballas." Didn't he say that? Did he say Mark or Steven? Why am I confusing them? But he said it was one of them. And Eric, like, it's like, so he reminded me of when I was a kid and we would take our dog to the vet, and the dog was so smart. You know, he's on the leash, and you'd get him to the door of the vet, and he would never walk into the vet. He always took steps backwards and walked backwards from the front door. It's, you really had to force him to just go over that threshold into the vet. And Eric totally reminded me of that dog. Like, just adorable and cute and refusing every step of the way. Oh, Johnny Weir, jeez. Oh my gosh. And I didn't write that down at all, who it was. Oh, yeah, I did. Thinks the handwriting is Johnny's. He's so cute. Was the very last thing I wrote on my notes. That's like the very last line. Except I was talking to my notes, and so it didn't say Eric. It actually says Berg. I don't know who Berg is, but Eric. But my voice recorder thought that Eric was Berg. So anyway, he ends up picking Eric. Eric's like, I just don't think I could do this. There's no way I can be anything but a faithful. I just don't know. And he's so sure he's going to see Johnny. And he gets down there. And at the very last second before he sees him, he's like, you know, there's no way I could be a traitor. And then he's like, or could I? And then you see this. The look on his face when he discovered it was Rob. You have been Team Rob from the jump. I wasn't really team anybody from the beginning, but I liked Eric's personality. Like, instantly Eric's personality spoke to me. But because of Rob's gameplay, you know, I generally, hopefully the most strategic people are also likable, and then that's who I go for. But I love this picture so much. And I'm really excited. I don't think Eric's going to refuse it. I think because it's Rob, he's going to accept it. I think if it was Johnny, I don't know what he would have done, because at the end he's like, or could I? So he's going to take it, I think. I'm going to cry if he doesn't. And that was this week's show. I think I was Team Rob maybe from episode 3 or 4. Yeah, Monet was great too. A lot of the early ones that went out, I liked. I was Team Rob Sesternino. That's right. I started off being Team Rob Sesternino, Team Other Rob, Team Strategic Rob. But who knew Cute Rob was also a strategic Rob? Too funny. What is? So I guess that's all we got. Yeah, we've got let me see. 3 episodes left. Today's the 8th. Yeah, the last episode's like the 28th. Yeah, Rob C. and then Monet. And then, when Rob C. was gone, I had to find somebody new, and the other Rob proved to be worthy of my rooting for him. I do. I want good strategy, and I want him to be likable. That's really all I need. But yeah, we've got 3 weeks left. The last week will be a double episode. So next 2 weeks, 1 episode, and then the last week will be the finale and the reunion. So that should be fun. I've really been enjoying. I don't know if you guys have been watching on Peacock. They've got Boston Rob, the other Rob, the third Rob, Boston Rob, and Bob the drag queen do a show. They do a recap. Monet was on that. They did an interview with Monet on there, but yeah, that's been really good. And then Rob as a podcast is doing the exit interviews. They do amazing recaps if you like, more of the strategy, deeper talk. So, all right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to play a little bit of this outro.
Come friend, come foe,
No.
come one, come all, to the highlands to see who lives and who falls. Jokers and fools, queens and kings, they'll take to the stage on invisible strings. In my castle, their roles are assigned, their fates in the game, forever entwined. Under cover of night, the traitors will slay. Can a faithful fight back, or be the next play? Till death do us part, in shadows they hide. Murder and treachery, secrets and lies, they'll all stop at nothing for the ultimate prize. All are mere puppets in the world of the traitors. From the meek to the fierce, pawns to dictators, bound by the strings of the silent orchestrators. Every move, every breath, a twisted decree, a game of betrayal. No one's true